A horizontal steel beam erection activity was taking place in Turbine Generator Building 4 at the Baraka Nuclear Energy Plant. The work required the removal of safety netting in order to allow the crane operator to lower the steel beams into position. After a team briefing, which took place at 05:45 hours, the men proceeded to the power block area at 06:15 hours. The team consisted of 2 steel erectors, 2 riggers, the foreman and the supervisor. The workers started their beam installation at the grid line TA-TB at 0700 hours. One man was assigned to elevation 73 feet to act as a watcher during the work. After successfully installing 3 beams, the supervisor instructed the workers to remove the safety net at the TG-TH line at 0800 hours. The group started removing the safety netting at elevation 136 feet at 0805 hours. Once finished, they then proceeded to elevation 100 feet at 0820 hours. At 0850 hours, the 3-man team successfully removed the safety netting at elevation 100 feet, leaving only the west side in position and releasing the other 3 sides. At 0855 hours, all members of the team took a planned break, with some of the workers proceeding to the slab rest area at elevation 100 feet. During the break, one team member decided to descend via the ladder to elevation 85 feet without the supervisor's knowledge. At 0950 hours, witnesses saw him sitting on a beam at elevation 85 feet in a non-working area where there was no fall protection system in place. The worker was next seen walking on the beam at elevation 85 feet at 1025 hours. 3 minutes later, at 1028 hours, the worker fell from elevation 85 feet and landed on the concrete slab at elevation 63 feet. The body harness worn by the worker was not connected due to a lack of anchorage points. He sustained serious head and jaw injuries after hitting the scaffold guardrail as he fell, and his helmet detached from his head during the fall. The worker was pronounced dead at the scene after an examination by a doctor at 1045 hours. A number of factors can be attributed to the incident. The deceased worker's work at height training had expired, as had the supervisor's mandatory training. The foreman had not completed any of the mandatory training for supervisors and foremen. Horizontal lifelines and safety nets were not provided at elevation 85 feet. The lower part of the ladder from elevation 85 feet to 67 feet, along with the lifeline, had been removed 2 weeks prior to the incident due to construction activities. A vertical lifeline had not been installed on the incomplete ladder. No signage or physical barriers were in place to restrict access to the ladders. A risk assessment had not been conducted to identify hazards and the needed control measures for incomplete access. The assigned supervisor and foreman failed to check the access ladders on the steel structure prior to beam installation. A lack of rest shelters inside the structure, combined with the large number of workers, meant that the maximum capacity per rest shelter was exceeded. The construction materials that blocked the pathway of the crawler crane were clearly visible from the first lifting area and should have been removed by a forklift prior to the start of work. Following the incident, a range of preventative measures have been implemented in order to mitigate hazards and risks on site. All supervisors and foremen must attend and complete supervisory responsibility awareness training, while all steel erectors must attend awareness sessions covering signs, signage, barricades and restricted areas, including the importance of taking breaks in designated rest shelters. Provision of an adequate number of rest shelters to accommodate the entire workforce has also taken place. Warning signs and tape have been added to all incomplete ladders in order to restrict access.